what I can say. And it's for anybody. I don't care, man, woman, child, or whatever. If you are experiencing any abuse or in a bad situation, you have to protect yourself. Sometimes she did everything by the book. She did everything by the book. She went to the police. She told them. And he still took her life. I don't know how. I gotta find that. I can't find God in this.
In the small town of Dothan, Alabama, the life of 62-year-old Ms. Reinetta Morrow unfolded like a classic tale of love, compassion, and community service. Originally hailing from the bustling streets of Chicago, Illinois, she relocated to Dothan to raise her family and dedicated 30 years of her life to serving her community as a postal worker. Known for her integrity and kindness, Reinetta was adored by those she served, often receiving tokens of appreciation from grateful locals. The year 2021 marked significant milestones for Morrow. After 3 decades of dedicated service, she retired from her role as a postal worker.
Reject me! Reject me! All right, reject me! Shut up, I ain't leaving it up here.
Hey, Ralph, you missed real
Last white, bye, Ralph!
last wife.
What you gonna do with it?
Her retirement was not the only announcement that year. On February 3, 2021, Ms. Morrow surprised her family by marrying 68-year-old Ansel Lewis. Their union was a quiet affair, emblematic of their modest and down-to-earth personalities. In a candid social media exchange with a family member, Mrs. Lewis shared the simplicity of their marriage process, highlighting the ease of obtaining a marriage license in Alabama. Though the details of their meeting remain a mystery, their bond was evident in the photos they shared on social media, capturing moments of love, joy, and togetherness over nearly 3 years. Their relationship appeared idyllic, promising a future filled with happiness and companionship. However, their love story took a tragic turn, ending abruptly in a cold-hearted murder that shocked their community and shattered the lives of those who knew and loved them. Welcome to the American Crime Femicide channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future uploads. In the twilight of their relationship, Reinetta found herself trapped in a nightmare with Ansel. What had once been a union of love had devolved into a tumultuous existence marred by anger, volatility, and violence. Ansel's unpredictable outbursts, fueled by his bipolar disorder and alleged drug use, created an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty within their home. Despite her logical instincts urging her to break free from the cycle of abuse, Reinetta endured a relentless barrage of harassment and intimidation from her estranged husband. In December 2023, Reinetta took a brave step toward reclaiming her life by filing for divorce from Ansel. Yet, even as the ink dried on the final papers on February 24, her newfound freedom remained elusive. Ansel's obsessive behavior escalated, manifesting in acts of vandalism, stalking, and menacing messages on social media. Desperate to protect herself, Reinetta sought legal recourse, filing for a protective order on February 28, with a hearing scheduled for March 14. But in the twisted reality of their relationship, a mere piece of paper held little power against Ansel's relentless pursuit of control. Tragically, the protective order became a futile attempt at safeguarding her life. On March 6, just 1 day after its issuance, Ansel stormed back into Reinetta's life with a firearm in hand. The peaceful tranquility of her home shattered as gunfire echoed through the air, prompting concerned neighbors to alert the authorities. When law enforcement arrived at the scene, they discovered Reinetta deceased from multiple gunshots. By the time they arrived, Ansel had barricaded himself inside his former residence. Upon entry, the cops discovered Ansel dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Why am I doing this video? I'm doing this video because someone so selfish took somebody's life. He ruined that relationship. And all you had to do was just walk away. But instead, you just decided to take someone and then take yourself. And she meant the world to people. To know her was to love her. She was funny and she loved music. She was from Chicago like me. I'm talking about Reinetta Morrow. I didn't know all of the details of what happened. But what I can say, and it's for anybody, I don't care, man, woman, child, or whatever. If you are experiencing any abuse or in a bad situation, you have to protect yourself. Sometimes she did everything by the book. She did everything by the book. She went to the police. She told them. And he still took her life. I don't know how. I gotta find it. I can't find God in this. He could have just killed himself and let her live, but he took her life. In front of the house that she loved. She saw that house, I remember. When she said she saw that house. If you look at the news tonight, it was a domestic killing today in Dothan, Alabama, about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock this afternoon. Name was Reinetta Morrow. Her ex-husband killed her in the front of the house that was her dream house, and ran and apparently barricaded himself in the house and shot and killed himself too. I've experienced domestic violence in my life, people with drug addictions in my life, and a desperate man is a dangerous man. The world lost an angel today, but God gave an angel today.
2 people are dead tonight in an apparent murder-suicide in Dothan, one that ended with the accused killer in a standoff with police and taking his own life. Tonight, the coroner has identified the victim. She's Reinetta Lewis, a 60-year-old woman who lived at the home. The gunman has not yet been identified, but the coroner says he has the same last name as the victim, but as of right now, he's unsure of their relationship. The woman was found shot to death, and the police standoff happened along East Bunch Street in Northeast Dothan. WDHN's Brian Boggiano is there live now with the latest. Brian.
And Michael, we are here at the 900 block of East Bunch Street, where an alleged murder-suicide took place earlier today at the house you see right behind me. Police responded to a report of a shooting at the 900 block of East Bunch Street, where they found a woman who had been shot multiple times in front of a house. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say the suspect then barricaded themselves in the house. That led to a response that included more than 24 Dothan Police Department vehicles, an ALE A-22 helicopter, and members of the bomb squad. Bunch Street was temporarily closed off midday Wednesday. Police can be seen drawing weapons and tactical gear as they rush down Bunch Street and toward the crime scene. After multiple failed attempts to apprehend the suspect, police forced their way in. There, they found the suspect with a self-inflicted gunshot wound and pronounced them dead at the scene.
This is still an active investigation. You know, we never assume anything. We always want to make sure that we follow all the leads and we don't leave anything to chance. So we're going to let the investigators do their work, and we'll have more information for you guys hopefully in the coming days.
And police identified the victim as 60-year-old Reinetta Lewis. They did not identify the name of the suspect, but sources tell us the suspect might be the ex-husband of Miss Lewis. Now, earlier today, law enforcement was swarmed at the house behind me. They have since left, but the investigation still continues.
2 people are dead this morning in an apparent murder-suicide in Dothan, one that ended with the accused killer in a standoff with police and then taking his own life. This morning, the coroner has identified the victim. She's Reinetta Lewis, a 60-year-old woman who lived at home. Now, the woman was found shot to death, and the police standoff happened along East Bunch Street in northeast Dothan. While police have not publicly identified the suspect, sources tell us that Lewis was killed by her ex-husband Ansel Lewis. Along with that, court records reveal that on February 26th, Reinetta filed a protection order from her recently divorced husband, claiming he was bipolar and threw tantrums that resulted in household items being thrown in the yard and being damaged. Reinetta filed for divorce in December, and they were officially divorced in February. The couple had been married for 3 years. Dothan police got a call of a shooting at the house where they found Reinetta, who had been shot multiple times in the front of the home. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say the suspect barricaded himself in the home, which led to more than 24 police department vehicles, an Leah-22 helicopter, and members of the bomb squad all at the scene. Bunch Road was temporarily closed off. Police could be seen drawing weapons and tactical gear as they rushed down the street and towards the crime scene. After multiple failed attempts to apprehend the suspect, police forced their way in. There, they found the suspect with a self-inflicted gunshot wound and pronounced him dead at the scene.
This is still an active investigation. You know, we never assume anything. We always want to make sure that we follow all the leads and we don't leave anything to chance. So we're going to let the investigators do their work, and we'll have more information for you guys hopefully in the coming days.
In the wake of Reinetta's tragic murder, her loved ones turned to social media to voice their grief and outrage at her senseless death and Ansel's role in it. Among them, a family member of Morrow's pointed fingers at Lewis, alleging his struggles with drug addiction. However, reports suggested that Ansel grappled with mental illness, potentially playing a part in his violent actions.
Murder-suicide of Reinetta Lewis and her ex-husband Ansel highlights 2 things: domestic violence and mental health issues.
When someone with bipolar disorder is not in that manic state, they dip down below that line I'm talking about into a depressive state.
According to court records, just 1 day before Reinetta Lewis was shot and killed by her ex-husband, Lewis filed for a protection order. She claimed that her estranged husband was suffering from a mental disorder and would throw tantrums at times, resulting in him causing damage to their home on East Bunch Street and items in their yard. Angela Underwood, the executive director of the House of Ruth, argues that a protection order does nothing to actually protect victims of domestic violence.
A protection from abuse order, it's more of a beginning paperwork stage. But again, at the end of the day, if the abuser is set on taking the life or harming that victim, they will do anything to get to that victim.
Back in 2023, Reinetta filed for a divorce that was finalized on February 24th of this year. Ansel Lewis was also suffering from bipolar disorder. According to Dr. Emma Quatlander-Goff, an assistant professor for the Department of Counseling and Rehabilitation at Troy's Dothan campus, it is a mood disorder that causes those affected to experience some occasional manic moments and moments of depression.
When we think about mania, we're looking at increased energy. There may be just an elevated or even irritable mood. When we see people with bipolar disorder jump into that depressive state, we're looking at more feelings of hopelessness, sadness, lack of motivation.
While studies have shown that those diagnosed can become violent individuals, Quatlander-Goff says that it is not a normal thing and that other factors play a key role.
There's a lot of things that can kind of build up and factor into a tragedy like this. It can be substance abuse, an increase in stress, not getting enough sleep, not taking medications regularly.
Quatlander-Goff also says that people should always look for signs of a possible diagnosis, but that it, quote, does not define who you are.
As Ansel's death concludes this tragic case in a murder-suicide, Morrow's family is left grappling with a profound sense of loss and unanswered questions. They believe that if Reinetta's calls for help had been taken more seriously, if her pleas had been heard, she might still be alive today. This tragedy underscores the urgent need for society to address the seriousness of domestic violence, which claims far too many lives, primarily women, at the hands of their partners. Morrow, despite her age of 62, exuded a vibrant zest for life and eagerly anticipated the joys of retirement. It's heartbreaking to realize that she never got the chance to fully savor this new chapter in her life, enjoying her well-deserved rest and the comforts of her home. Her funeral, held on March 23, 2024 in Chicago, Illinois, served as a solemn homecoming for her grieving family. As they grapple with the profound loss of their beloved relative, let us hold them close in our thoughts and prayers, especially her son, who now faces the daunting task of navigating life without his mother by his side. May Reinetta Morrow find eternal peace.